Why does my child wake up at night? That has to be the number one question that I get asked. Be it in my clinic, on social media, on questions in my blog, or even when I meet other parents in the playground. I just want to take you through 4 questions that you can ask to figure out why your child is waking up at night with the goal of getting better sleep for you and your child. The fact is, you have to know what's going on if you're going to fix the problem. So the first question to ask, and perhaps the most important one, is your child waking up because of a medical problem? Usually, if you reflect, you think about it, you're not going to be missing a medical problem to be waking your child up at night. Here are some common ones. If your child is coughing at night, asthma is a likely cause. And I'm not talking about coughing if they have a cold for a few days. I'm talking about coughing 2 or 3 times a week, waking up coughing, etc. Your child may have asthma already that isn't well controlled, or have asthma that has not yet been diagnosed. Acid reflux can cause a nighttime cough, though this is less common in children. Snoring is an important problem to think about as well. If your child is snoring every night, if the snoring is loud, if they're gagging or choking, it's important that they get evaluated by their pediatrician for obstructive sleep apnea, which is a condition where your child has problems breathing during the night. If your child is over 3 or 4 months of age and is spitting up during the night, you have to consider the possibility of acid reflux. If your child is complaining about belly pain, it's important to think about constipation. Again, I encourage you, if you're worried about your child's sleep at night, to talk to your pediatrician and make sure there aren't any medical issues that could be contributing to this. So let's say that you've talked to your pediatrician, you've reflected, there doesn't seem to be any medical cause for this. The next question is, does your child feed during the night? Now, it's very normal for children to feed during the night less than 6 months of age, or for breastfed babies less than a year of age to feed during the night. However, if your child is growing well, after 6 months of age, they may not need those calories, but it's a habit that they've learned during the night. Especially if your child greater than 6 months of age is feeding multiple times during the night. Learned hunger can cause persistent wakenings. So, let's say your child is older than a year and they're still breastfeeding 3, 4, 5 times a night. Or your 9-month-old is taking 3 6-ounce bottles of milk during the night. They don't need those calories, but they're going to keep waking up for them. Imagine if I gave you an ice cream sundae every night at 2 in the morning, and then, after about a month of that, I stopped doing that. You would wake up hungry and a little bit grumpy if you didn't get your ice cream fix. That's why if you're treating feeding and you're reducing it, you have to reduce it over time, and you can't just go cold turkey. Otherwise, your child is going to be miserable and hungry during the night, and by extension, you're going to be miserable as well. Note that if you're a breastfeeding mom and you start weaning at night, this may lead to weaning altogether. So unless you're ready to wean, I'd go cautiously and perhaps talk to your pediatrician or a lactation consultant about how to proceed. So if there's no medical issues and your child doesn't feed at night, perhaps the most important question to ask is, does your child fall asleep by him or herself? If not, the issue may be sleep onset associations. What do I mean by this? During the night, all of us wake up multiple times during the night. Usually we just adjust our pillows, pull up our blankets, and go back to sleep and don't remember it the next day. It's very normal for children and adults to have these brief by physiologic I mean normal awakenings, but we don't remember them the next day. However, if your child falls asleep with you present, patting their back, holding them, nursing them, every time they wake up during the night, they are going to need you there to put back together the conditions they need to fall asleep. The typical pattern for this is your child may sleep for 2 or 3 hours when you put them to bed. So you put them to bed at 8 o'clock. Then when you're getting to bed, they wake up, and they may wake up every hour or hour and a half after that until the morning, and you have to intervene. This doesn't result in a good night of sleep for everyone, and really, sleep training of any stripe has the goal of teaching a child to fall asleep on their own. Once they fall asleep on their own, then they may be able to stay asleep on their own. Now, the 4th question is sort of an extension of the 3rd question. Does your child have the dreaded early morning awakenings? Is your child up at 4 or 5 in the morning every day? There's a couple of reasons for this. Now, the first is this naturally the way that your child is? The fact is, most little kids are early risers. If your kid is awakening between 5:30 and 6:30 in the morning and they're wide awake, they're not grumpy, and they have a great morning without needing to nap within 1 or 2 hours, they're probably just an early riser, and you're actually going to just have to get used to that. Let's talk about another scenario there where your child is waking up fairly early and they're grumpy, they're really tired, they're falling asleep in the car on the way to school or daycare. That's where you have to think about numbers 2 and 3 here. First of all, is ambient light an issue? Is it bright in your child's room in the morning? Do they wake up as soon as the sun comes up? Do they sleep better in the wintertime than the summertime with longer days? You can address that with some blackout shades, and you can actually get some blackout shades that aren't that expensive from Walmart or Target that are just paper that you hang up. Likewise, is the sound of mom's car door slamming early in the morning waking the child up? Does the trash truck going in the street wake up the child? Then something like a sound machine might be helpful. And finally, one thing to think about, are you the cause of the problem? Are you reinforcing this association? The fact is, nothing reinforces behavior for kids like affection and contact from parents. We're all tired, and if our kids get up at 3 or 4 in the morning, it's very tempting to bring them back into bed with you. I know this was really hard with my younger son, that he would get up at 4:30 in the morning every day, which was just too early. Neither he nor I were ready to get up. And we were reinforcing this by bringing him into bed with us. The fact is, if you want this problem to end, you need to stop bringing your child into bed. Don't just do it some of the time. You have to decide, either we're going to do this or we're not going to bring him or her into bed with us anymore if we want to get rid of this problem. So, if you want to know what to do about these issues and other sleep issues, first of all, talk to your pediatrician. These people are well trained and they have a lot of information about sleep issues and medical issues. I know because I am one. You can search my site, drcraigcanapari.com, or tweet me at drcanapari. And please stay tuned for more upcoming content, including a course I'm putting together for parents to help them ensure that both parents and kids get a better night of sleep. Thank you so much for your attention.